Hey everybody, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the TED Show. This is our second panel discussion on how we can become more aware of and then therefore make an impact on stopping the Asian American Pacific Islander hate. You guys have seen all of the newscasts, you've seen the insane stuff that's going on just because somebody is Asian or their perception is that they're Asian. People are being killed, being hurt, being attacked. Honestly, I did not realize there was a big problem until it started to become a big problem. But I am fully aware that a lot of this was going on for a long time. So these very, very cool, wonderful people have agreed to join us. And I'm going to start, thank you all. And I'm going to start with, and we have Leia Leitner, Kenneth Siu, Vanessa Braga, Mimi Chan, Kenway Wong, and Sam Chen. Welcome, everybody. Somebody's got feedback. I don't know who it is, but we're going to get through it, and I'm going to find it. I'm going to start with Leia first. Just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you, Leia.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ted, for having me on the show again. My name is Leia Leitner. I'm a federal practitioner here in Orlando and also a community leader with a couple of Asian nonprofit organizations. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much.
All right. I found the feedback, so I'm going to keep that one person muted as we go through. Ken Siu, up at the top. We'll start with you, my friend. How are you?
Sure, I'm well. Thank you for having me on and part of this panel. Right now, I'm for the last couple of years, I've been a small business owner in the Orlando area. Prior to that, I was a traffic and transportation engineer for about 15 years. And then most recently, I got involved with NAAPI, the Orlando chapter, which is the National Association for Asian American Professionals. And that's kind of how I'm here today.
Well, very happy to have you. All right, Vanessa Braga. And if I'm saying that wrong, Vanessa, you got to tell me.
You're saying it perfectly, Ted. So thank you for having me. I moved to Orlando in 2011. And I am a defense attorney. I have served as the past president of the Greater Orlando Asian American Bar Association, and that's how I was asked to be here today, and I'm happy to be speaking on this issue. I'm very passionate about it.
Very happy to have you. Thank you. Kenway Wong is on with us too. Hi, Kenway.
Hey Ted, thanks for having us today. My name is Kenway Wong. I'm also an attorney. I work at the law firm of Ackerman LLP in downtown Orlando, and I specialize in litigation. Like Vanessa and like Leia too, actually, I'm involved with the Greater Orlando Asian American Bar Association, and I'm the president-elect, and will be president starting July. So I'm happy to be here today and look forward to chatting with you all.
Congratulations on the election. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Mimi, you're up. Mimi Chan, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, I'm Mimi Chan. I am an instructor at the Wallam Kung Fu Temple in Orlando, and I've pretty much been here my entire life in the Orlando area. I'm also a local activist and advocate for social justice and host a podcast called The Sifu Mimi Chan Show.
I love it. Welcome. That's why your setup looks so good. You've got the professional looking mic. And last but not least, we have Sam Chen. Sam, how are you?
Hey, good. Hey, Teddy, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you.
I'm Chen. I have been a robotics engineer for 15 years. I'm an immigrant from China. About 20 years ago, I arrived in this country. And something I'm really passionate about is the Asian community, particularly the Chinese American community. And it's just an awesome experience to be an immigrant to the States and then be exposed to a very different, diverse society where minority-majority relations are so important. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, I'm going to start with Vanessa because she said something earlier that caught my attention. You're passionate about this topic, you said. You're passionate about bringing awareness to it. Have you experienced it, seen it? Can you tell us what the passion is? I mean, obviously, because there's an obvious reason, but tell us why you think it's really important for us to continue to have these panels and continue to work on the advocacy side.
Sure. So I became passionate about this because my father was very involved in the Thai community down in South Florida. He actually received an award from the King of Thailand for his efforts to help the Thai people down there. And throughout my life, you know, I have unfortunately experienced this. I've been bullied in school, and you know, I see it now. And you know, quite frankly, my father was the one who made it. Brought it closer to home in that he was asking me for advice on how to protect himself. And this was the first time my father ever had to ask me for advice on, you know, defending himself in this country.
I guess that's what's so interesting. You all have been experiencing this, maybe not quite at the heightened level. Well, we're just seeing it, I guess. And since things have been recorded, since we all have we have our smartphones and our stuff, I feel like the issue has always been there, much like any kind of racism, bigotry in the world. But we're catching more of it and seeing more of it because people have their cell phones, right? Access to it. Mimi, I'm going to ask you, tell me what it's like as a woman and an Asian woman. Tell us what it's like for you. Are you always looking over we had somebody ask, are they looking over their shoulder? Are they that afraid? Is it that uncomfortable? I think people hear this, are so desensitized, and they can't actually believe it's happening in their backyard.
Yes. Well, again, thank you so much, Ted, for bringing light to this issue and constantly amplifying our voices. I think on a personal level, as a martial arts instructor, I've fortunately been trained. I have a lot of training and awareness. And one of the initiatives that I also was really passionate about was bringing that awareness and training to others. And so recently we had a harassment and bystander intervention training. And I think that's really important for people. So yes, absolutely. Though I have heard countless stories from people that I know that are afraid to go to the grocery store or afraid to, you know, kind of be out in public in the space that they used to be in. And that's just really unfortunate for us to have those limitations and to feel like we're in a space that isn't safe, or to feel worried about our elders, our parents, or grandparents, and et cetera. So it's a really unfortunate thing that's happened. But like you said earlier, with the cell phones and with social media and more people being aware, hopefully that also resonates with the attackers, that more people are watching, more people are going to stand up against this. The fact that we're having this conversation now speaks to the fact that, you know, we are not going to be silenced, that we are not going to be the model minority myth where we are going to be submissive and take this lying down. So I think the best thing that we can all do is to, one, learn, educate ourselves, speak up for one another, and try to empower ourselves in the best way possible. But absolutely, people are definitely in fear right now, and rightfully so, because the images that we're seeing are just progressively getting worse, and they are definitely increasing. So it hasn't stopped. And like, I don't know if it's because, like you said, we have more videos of it, but basically these issues are real.
And I feel like they are becoming more prevalent, not because there's a huge, well, there is a rash and increase for sure, but I think it's just because in our minds, we're finally seeing it and hearing about it. And a lot of us have been, there's all sorts of things going on in the country the last couple of years. And so this was new for a lot of people. Let me ask you, Kenway, I'll go to you. You were talking about being you're president-elect, you're super involved in the community. As an attorney, are you seeing any discrimination cases? Are you hearing things out there where maybe even the Asian attorneys are being discriminated against? What's been your experience?
It's a multifaceted problem. I can't say that I've experienced direct racism, personally or professionally, really targeted at me at an individual level, but we have to realize it's a much broader issue, and it affects every single aspect of society. And so just to unpack that a bit, I mean, with all the attacks that have been happening on the most vulnerable members of our community, as bad as that is, I mean, it really starts even earlier than that. Not all racism is expressed through violence. It takes many different forms. And so I think from our organization's perspective, and for GWAPA, what we're trying to do is remain visible, not only as a platform for the members and within our organization, but also as a liaison to our community for people who are victims and targets of racism and violence, and just really bridging the gap and making sure that our community at home in Central Florida feels safe.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like the more that we talk about it, even if it seems like we're talking through some of the same points, somebody new is going to listen and somebody new is going to tune in and somebody new is going to hear your perspectives, which we don't get a lot of. We get a lot of media perspectives, but we don't get a lot of really humanized perspectives on what's going on, which is why you all being in our backyard talking about this is, to me, so critical. Thank you. Leia, how about you from your perspective in your business? What have you seen? What are you seeing? And have you heard of any stories where people are experiencing it firsthand?
Sure. So luckily, I haven't had any. I haven't experienced being a direct victim, but because I'm not a direct victim, doesn't mean that I'm not affected by the the violence in the Asian community. And it's important to continue the awareness on this subject because I think Mimi pointed it out that we, as Asian Americans, were considered the model minority, and because of that, we've we've chosen to keep our heads down and not make waves, but that's not making an impact. And as we mentioned and touched on last panel, there's been an uptick on Asian American violence, and I'd like to say that it's reducing, but just yesterday and today there have been Asian American violence incidents that were reported in San Francisco. 2 Asian elderly women were attacked, and then an Asian man that was with his 1-year-old in a stroller was also attacked from behind. So again, bringing this awareness and bringing this issue to the community is important. And as most of us are on the panel are community leaders, we're trying to reach out to the Mayor Demings. We talked to Mayor Demings a week ago about this issue, and because he was a former sheriff, he's sensitive to these issues and he's aware, and he's trying to do his best to come together with community to make differences in either criminal reform or, just make a difference with what we're seeing here.
Love it. All right, Ken, I did not forget about you. My question for you, as a business owner, Ken, have you changed the way that you do business? Have you changed your safety precautions? Is it something that because of the increase in violence, or at least the increase in violence that we're seeing, have you felt like you've had to act differently, set things up differently, running your business?
From a personal standpoint, I don't know that we're doing anything specific to, these types of incidents targeted towards Asian Americans. Certainly safety of myself and employees at the company. It's certainly always a concern, and we prepare for that. But as far as a business, we're not doing anything specifically for that. I will say that, on a personal level, although I've never experienced violence because of my background, we have these conversations now that I don't know that we've had previously, and just speaking with my own parents, now this is a topic of a conversation of, hey, this happened over here. Did you see this? When you go out, be mindful of these things. And while that's great, the fact that this has to be a point to be considered in a normal conversation, I think, begs us to use whatever platforms we have to spread the word and just educate and do those. And that's kind of why this is important to do. Even for me as a small business owner, I'm not in the legal profession. I'm not an activist per se, but whatever platforms we have that are available to us, I think it's very important that we utilize those.
Agreed. I'm going to throw something at you that I heard a group talking about, and I would like your input, maybe one or two of you. They were saying how all Hispanics look alike. They all speak the same language. I found that to be sort of very offensive. And so I actually had heard somebody right after that talk about, because I was talking about the show, and out of my out of my eye shot, I heard, but I could hear them say, well, don't all the Asians look alike? Don't you find that offensive? I mean, as a white American, I find that very offensive. I can't imagine you all finding that to be a positive thing. I think people say these little things and they think that they don't hurt or that they don't perpetuate the hate. But my opinion is they do. I'd love yours. Maybe we'll do Mimi.
Hi. Yes. That's absolutely correct. It's obviously a very insensitive and racist thing to group people to say that, you know, any minority or anybody of the BIPOC community looks the same. But this is the point. These are the times where we have an option to make those corrections. So sometimes, I apologize, I can't remember who said earlier, it's not always violence, right? It's these little slights. It's these small windows of opportunity for people to not even realize what racism is. And it's up to us to actually correct that. And we can have very open, honest, and clear dialogue without getting into arguments and attacking one another. So I think what's really important here is that we do correct people when they say these things, when they say, oh, all Asians, you know, do Kung Fu, or all Asians own a Chinese restaurant, or all Asians, you know, aren't Chinese and Japanese the same. I think it's up to us to actually make those corrections and distinctions and educate one another. I would like to take this quick opportunity to mention that I have a petition out right now because I really feel education is what we all need, right, from every level. And so I have a initiative for Florida to the board, the education board commissioner, to instill and add Asian American history into our K through 12 curriculum, because I feel with more knowledge, more awareness, and more understanding of what the Asian American history is and what the struggle has been and what our reality is, then people will have more empathy and understand. So I think it is up to us, and absolutely any of these racial slurs, any of these things that are said to anyone is absolutely not acceptable. But I think it's up to us to also help educate and correct that in a very reasonable way. We don't have to get angry if someone doesn't know. It's our job to educate. Maybe it's a teacher in me.
No, I love that too. And I love that you just said that, because I think a lot of people, they don't think that the education will work. And I have met people who really just never thought about what they were saying would cross a line. It doesn't excuse it. It's just they didn't think about it. So I absolutely love the fact that having that conversation doesn't have to be a violent, doesn't have to be an all-out argument. It can be an opportunity to educate. Leah, you were instrumental in bringing the panel together. Why this time? Because you were on the first panel. Why this time? Why did you want to continue to have the conversation?
And so it's kind of what I touched on earlier. I mean, it's important to bring awareness to the community about what's really going on as far as the anti-Asian violence. And a lot of the panelists on here are community leaders. And I think it's important to voice these concerns and to continue. And so I appreciate you having us, Ted, to do that and provide this platform for us.
Thank you. I just appreciate you all coming on. I'm doing another panel for another group that I feel like is getting attacked a lot. And there were some people who feared coming on that panel for their fear retribution, or people going after them just because they came onto a panel and talked about what was going on in their lives. And I think that's so sad that people have to think that way. Just like I had somebody who runs an Asian restaurant. We talked a little bit, and he said, we just keep looking at the door, making sure we're aware of our surroundings in the restaurant. And I thought, God, that is just so sad that you have to be cognizant of somebody coming in and losing their mind just because of they're an Asian restaurant. Sam, tell me a little bit about what you've been working on, because you talked a lot on the last panel, and I would love to know, you do a lot in the community, so talk a little bit about that. I got to take you off mic.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. My
So,
bad.
Ted, thanks to your last panel, actually, I've got friends in my community come to me and telling me their experience of discrimination. And it surprised me. It was more widespread than I thought. For example, one of my guy friends over the weekend, this past weekend, told me that when he used the restroom, drunk people just came up to him and said, Chink, why are you here? Why are you in my country?
Oh my God.
So I hear that, and I have another girl, Asian friend who grew up in the Midwest and who told me that she was the only Asian in the class. And sometimes some of the teachers will come up to her and say, oh, I didn't know Asians could learn so well on this subject. So those are true stories. And personally, I had some personal experience. Some are verbal, some are physical, but I have to admit, sometimes if the other side does not point out, hey, you are Chinese or you're Asian, that's why I'm doing this to you, then it's hard for me to guess what he's really thinking. And I think that's the problem, why we don't hear a lot of it, because a lot of times the Asians, when they get attacked, they think it's their own problems. It's brought onto them because their own problem, not because it's stereotype against their entire ethnicity or race. And they haven't talked as much. But Ted, shows like yours would bring out more of this information.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. All right, I'm going to let one of you take us out because we've had a lot of people before we went live ask me, okay, how can I get involved? Is there one website? Is there a local organization that's doing a lot of advocacy work? What's the best way for somebody to get involved and get educated if they are of that mindset? I didn't ask anybody that beforehand, but somebody must. There's the Asian American Chamber. I know that. Maybe you all have your industry organizations. Go ahead, Mimi. I see you.
There's a lot of organizations, and most of everyone on here are part of those organizations. So of course, GoABA, and I will say that on the last webinar I did, which partnered with the Orange County Sheriff Office to bring awareness and safety to the community, we had mentioned that please just reach out to us on social media. I am working closely with like Asia Trend and several other community organizations that are helping to actually build that database. So if anybody does want to get involved, I'm at Sifu Mimi Chan at any of my social media. We are actually actively building a database of people. I'm working with Shally, of course, and trying to gain more traction on anybody who wants to be of service. Like we have a meeting tonight with another organization that's trying to just partner and see how many volunteers we can get to basically feel like you're doing something. Because I think a big part of the problem here is, of course, we are all upset, we are all frustrated, and we feel powerless. We feel like we have no control, but each of us do have control. And that is to take one step at a time of action. And like I said, back to education, like go online. There are more national things like Stop AAPI Hate and Asian Americans Advancing Justice. They have a ton of resources that can help educate you and put your energy towards something. But pretty much everybody on here that's a part of all these community groups, they all have things going on. I know I don't have the date, but I think the NAAP has another harassment bystander intervention training. I highly suggest people are constantly signing up for things and just follow everyone that's here, because we are always posting anything happening in the community, anything that would be helpful. And we are always looking for more people that want to be involved. So I will just throw out there that, you can reach out to me on social media and we'll put you in the space, because we want the more of us together to stand together, the more we can accomplish.
Well said. You all are awesome. Thank you, by the way. It really is so important for us to continue the conversation. And I learn a nugget every time. But it also, like I said earlier, it puts a face. You guys are all a face instead of just some arbitrary person out west or in New York. This is happening right here in Central Florida as well. Guys, I know there's lots and lots of stories that people could share. I'm just thankful that you guys came on and shared with us. So Ken, Vanessa, Leia, Mimi, Kenway, and Sam, thank you. And big shout out to Coco Johnston for also helping us set out and get this all done. Thank you all so much. All right, we'll see you later. Bye, everybody.
Thank you,
Bye,
Ted.
thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye, everyone.